Testing, 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 testing. Let's see what happens. I do this. Wait a minute. Where's Zoom? Testing, testing, and Zoom is working. Okay, let's see here. Testing, testing is not working on here. Testing, testing, is it working on here now? Nope. Testing, 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 testing. Let's see what happens. I do this. Wait a minute, where's Zoom? Testing, testing, and Zoom is working. Okay, let's see here. Testing, testing is not working on here. Testing, testing, is it working? Okay, let me turn it on. I think it's working. You guys can hear me on Facebook and YouTube, right? Assalamu alaikum. Can you guys hear me on YouTube too, Pamela? And on Facebook? Let me get in Facebook. Everybody hears me? Yes, okay, good. Okay, good. I just want to make sure. So that doesn't make any difference at all. If I switch this to stereo, it's still the same. I just wanted to see if that would change anything. And it doesn't. Okay, inshallah. Let's go ahead and get started. Inna alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulallah. Welcome to another session of our series on the stories of the prophets, alayhi salam. The stories of the prophets of Allah. And today I was asked to do the story of Prophet Saleh. And inshallah, that's what we're going to cover tonight. And let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen so everyone can see it. I did make the PowerPoint for this one. Yes, I did. And here it is. Inshallah, you guys should be able to see my screen. And his story is not, his story is not that long, but his story is of great benefit to us. A lot of the new Muslims ask, when we read the Quran and we read about the other prophets of Allah, what should we benefit from them? Well, you learn from them. The Quran is 1/3 history. And when Allah tells us about the other prophets, he's sharing with us the history of the people, the history of the creation, the mistakes that man made in the past, mistakes that man should not duplicate, So that's what you should benefit, from learning about the prophets of Allah. And this story of what happened with Prophet Saleh is a very good lesson to be learned, because Allah left behind many ruins today. There are many ruins today that Allah left behind to prove what happens when we disobey him. And you travel throughout the earth. You go to Egypt, you see ruins. Those are the ruins of Pharaoh. You travel, you see to Greece and Rome and see all these ancient ruins, Persia. Allah leaves these behind as signs for us to understand that he exists. And look at how he destroyed those people. He can destroy us too. So the story of Saleh is a great story for that reason, because there are many, many reminders left behind of them. And I want you guys to understand the pictures that I am using. The pictures that I am using in this presentation are all pictures of their ruins. These are the ruins of the people of Saleh. So these are their pictures that I'm going to be using in this PowerPoint. Now, before Saleh, there was another group of people known as the people of Ad. The people of Ad, they were the original Arabs. Allah destroyed them. He destroyed the tribe of Thamud. The Ad people, and they were succeeded by the tribe of Thamud. That's the people that Saleh was sent to. Okay? Why did he destroy the people of Ad? That's another story. Because they refused to worship Allah alone. And this picture here that you see on my screen, these are the ruins of the people of Ad. Allah left their ruins behind. So the people of Thamud succeeded them. But they too fell into worshiping idols. They too refused to worship Allah alone. But Allah had blessed them with a lot of money. Allah had blessed them with a lot of things, just like he did the Ad. But they too rebelled against him. Okay? Like the people of Ad, they began to build large buildings. Okay? That Allah blessed them with the knowledge of technology. Allah blessed them with beautiful physiques. Allah blessed them with a lot of things. But they rebelled against him, and they began to oppress each other and to disobey his commands and the likes. So Allah sent to them a prophet. This is the prophet Saleh. And Saleh was a man from amongst them. He called the people to worship Allah and to not associate partners with him. Some of the people listened to Saleh and followed him, but most of them did not listen. And most of them began to treat him the way the people treated Noah, by making fun of him, okay? Critiquing him. But even though they made fun of him, Saleh told them, he said, "Oh, my people, worship Allah. You have no other God but him." Also, he was known for his wisdom and his goodness. And the people respected him before he became a prophet. But after prophethood, now they wanted to disrespect him. Saleh told them, the people said to him, "O Saleh, you have been amongst us as a figure of hope. And we wanted you to become a leader amongst us. But now this new thing that you have brought, you want us to leave our gods and worship your God. You now want to forbid us the worship of what our fathers worship? Now we are in doubt as to whether or not what you invite us to is true belief in Allah." And just like the Arabs, guys, y'all can see, the people of Thamud, they believed in the existence of Allah, but they did not believe that he was the only one worthy of worship. Just like the Christians today. The Christians today, they believe in Allah, but they don't believe that he's the only one worthy of worship. So this has always been the state of affairs with man. They'll accept and acknowledge the existence of an entity greater than they, but they don't think that this entity is worthy of being worshiped alone. So what the people did was, they told Saleh, "Give us proof. Bring us proof that what you're teaching us is true. Bring us proof." They thought that he was a magician. They accused him of magic. They said, "If you are truly a prophet of God, then perform a miracle for us. Bring forth a she-camel from out the mountains." So Saleh asked Allah. He made dua to Allah. He said, "Oh Allah, they say that if I am able to bring forth a female camel from out of the mountains, that they will believe in you and they will worship you." So Allah granted Saleh this miracle, and a huge, unique female camel appeared from the direction of the mountain. Okay? And Allah speaks about this in the Quran. They say that Saleh pointed at a rock and the camel came from out of that rock. And when the camel emerged, Saleh said, look, if Allah sends you what you have requested, just as you have described, will you now believe in him? And they said, yes. And this camel was just as they had described. But guess what? Some of the people believed in him, but others still chose to reject them. Listen to what Allah says and the interpretation, the meaning. We sent the female camel to Thamud as a clear sign, but they did her wrong. So even though the people said that they would believe in his Lord, if this camel appeared, they reneged on it. Okay? And when that camel appeared, the people were surprised to see her come from out of those rocks. And this camel was not a normal camel. It was a blessed camel. It had milk that was sufficient enough to feed 1,000 men and women and children. If it slept in one place, that place was abandoned by other animals. So it was obvious that this was not an ordinary camel. It was obvious that this was a sign of Allah. And it lived amongst Saleh's people. Some of the people did believe in Allah, but again, the majority of them didn't. And the ones that didn't believe, their hatred of Saleh turned into ill will, because they saw that the number of people who did believe in him had grown. So these people began to plot against Saleh. And so Saleh could see the hatred and the jealousy amongst the unbelievers. And he was afraid that they would do harm to the camel. So he warned them. He said, "Oh people, this camel is a sign of Allah to you. So let her roam freely on the earth. Do not touch her with any evil, because if you do, Allah will send a punishment to you." For a while, the people allowed the camel to graze and walk around freely, but still the unbelievers hated her. Okay? And they began to continue to meet and plan what to do about this camel, because the camel was so big and the camel drank so much water that it frightened their other cattle. So they developed a plan to kill it. And what they did was they went to the women and asked the women to seduce the men to carry out their commands to kill it. And naturally, these young men were tempted by the women, and they found others to assist them. And what they did was they watched the camel closely, observing all its movements. And one day, as the camel came to drink at a well, one of the men shot it in the leg with an arrow. The camel tried to run away, but it was hampered by the arrow. Then another man followed the camel and struck it with a sword in the other leg. And as the camel fell to the ground, he pierced it with his sword, killing it. And after the camel had been killed, these men were given a hero's welcome. The people cheered them, made songs about them, sang poetry about them, and they made fun of Saleh. But Saleh was not happy. He stood before the people and he warned them. He said, "Enjoy your life for 3 more days. Then after those 3 days, Allah's punishment will overtake you." He was hoping that the people would feel afraid and guilty, and that they would turn back to Allah and repent. But they didn't. Instead, they said, "Why 3 days? Tell your God to bring the punishment to us now." And he said to the people, "Oh, my people, why would you rush to have evil happen than good? Why don't you instead ask Allah to forgive you?" They said, "We look at you and we see your presence and that of your followers as the evil. And Allah speaks about them in the Quran. He says in the interpretation, the meaning, we sent to Thamud their brother Saleh, telling them to worship Allah alone. Then look, they divided into two parties, the believers and the unbelievers, arguing with each other. He said, "O my people, why do you hasten to the evil before the good of Allah? Why do you not seek forgiveness of Allah so he can forgive you?" And they said, "We view you as an ill omen." He said, "Your ill omen is with Allah, but you are a people that are being tested." So Allah tells us their story of what happened in the Quran. So, amongst the people in the city, there were 9 men from the sons of their leaders who made the mischief in the land, who were the ones that killed the camel. They said, "Swear to one another by Allah that we shall make a secret attack on him and his family." Talking about Saleh. We're going to attack Saleh and his family. And when we're going to kill not only him and his family, but we're going to kill his relatives too. So here we can see that these people were plotting and planning to kill Saleh and his family. And Allah speaks about this. He says in the interpretation of meaning, so they plotted and planned, and we plotted and planned too. See how was the end of their plan. We destroyed them and their nation altogether. These are their houses in utter ruin, for they did wrong. Verily, and this is indeed a verse, a sign for people who know. We saved those who believed and destroyed those who didn't. So what happened was, as these people were plotting and planning to kill Saleh, Allah sent word to Saleh telling him to take his followers and go somewhere else because they were plotting to kill them. So Saleh, even though he was sad to do so, he and his followers left and moved to another place. And after Saleh and his followers left, thunderbolts began to fill the sky and earthquakes began to occur. And Allah sent those earthquakes that destroyed the entire tribe and its homeland. And here's a picture of the ruins of Thamud. Allah destroyed them all, took them all under the ground and left their ruins behind. The land was violently shaken, all living creatures in it. In one cry, all his people dropped dead and were buried. Their strong buildings, their homes could not protect them. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. And to the people of Thamud we sent Saleh. He said, "O my people, worship Allah and have no other God but him. Indeed, there has come to you a clear sign, a miracle from the she-camel, from your Lord. This she-camel of Allah is a sign to you. So leave her alone to graze in Allah's earth. Do not harm her, or a painful punishment will seize you. Remember what happened to your successors. Remember what happened to those who came before you, the Arab people. But they didn't listen. Allah destroyed them." So here you see Allah telling us the whole story in the Quran, which is where I've gotten this story from. He destroyed them and left their ruins behind. And they were destroyed without even realizing what was happening. Allah saved Prophet Saleh and those who believed in him because they had left that place. Okay? There's a hadith where our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, they were passing by the ruins of Thamud on their way to the battle of Tabuk against the Romans. And they stopped at this place. The people gathered water from the wells which the people used to drink from. And this picture here is a picture of one of the wells. This is one of the wells that they drank from. The Muslims had prepared their food, and they used the water to prepare it with. But then Allah sent the command to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, telling him to tell his people, do not drink the water. So the Prophet ordered them to empty their water skins and give the dough to the camels. And then he went away with them. And they stopped at the well from which the camel used to drink. And by the way, this picture here, this is the well that the camel drank from. This well right here in the middle, in the front, that's where the camel used to drink. They stood over that well, and the prophet said, I fear that you may be afflicted by whatever happened to them, so don't enter into these ruins and don't drink this water or any of that. And this is when the prophet said, whenever we enter a part of the world that has the destruction of Allah, enter weeping and making dua so that Allah won't send that punishment on you. So this picture here is a picture of the well that the camel drank from, the ruins. Allah left it behind as a sign to us all. And so that's the story of Saleh. That's all Allah says about him. Anything else you hear about him, don't pay it no attention. This is all we need to know. He was of the Thamud people. Subhanallah. One more thing about him too, guys. He lived during the time of Moses. Moses married his, no, that was Shuaib. That's a different one. I don't want to mix them up. Yeah, Shuaib came after him. Okay. So, but anyway, yeah, but this is all we have of Saleh. This is it. Anything else you hear about him, this is it. All right. So I'm going to stop right here. Again, and these ruins are in what's known as Jordan today. If you guys ever travel to the country of Jordan, you will see the ruins of the Ad and the Thamud people. Allah blessed them with beautiful physiques, and Allah blessed them with knowledge of technology. They were able to build their homes in the mountains, to carve out homes in the mountains. And all Allah asked them to do was to worship him alone. But they refused. They began to worship idols. And so Allah destroyed them, both of these nations. And these two nations were known as the original Arabs, known as the perishing Arabs, which means they were destroyed and all their descendants. Okay? All right. The Arabs we have today are not of them. Okay, because Allah destroyed them. There are the Arabs today come from other lineages. Okay, so we're going to stop right here. If there's any questions, inshallah, you can go ahead and ask them. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Any questions?
So, Sister Layla, so where they were located at, they were not in Saudi Arabia, but they was closer to maybe Jerusalem, Jordan?
No, this is Jordan. Their ruins are in Jordan.
They were closer that way, not...
They were in Jordan. It ain't closest. They were in Jordan. That's where their ruins are. Yeah, Jordan is not in Saudi Arabia. Okay. The only one that was in Saudi Arabia, guys, is the Prophet Muhammad. These other prophets were not Arabs. They were not from Saudi Arabia. Most of the prophets came from what's known today as Syria, Iraq, Jerusalem. Israel, Jordan, that part of the world. Yeah, Saudi Arabia is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Saleh and the people of Ad were Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Jesus and Moses and them were Jerusalem area and Egypt. Abraham was Babylon and Egypt. None of the prophets were in Saudi Arabia except for Ismail and the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad is a descendant of Ismail.
But they were of the Arab race.
Yeah, these were the, when I say nowadays, when y'all think of Arabs, y'all think of Saudi Arabia. Okay, that's different. The original Arabs were the Ad and the Thamud people. Okay, they were the original, just like the original Egyptians was Pharaoh. There's no original Egyptians today. They were destroyed. Allah destroyed the original Egyptians. The people of Egypt now are from Viking, Arabic, Greek blood. We're mixed up. Just like African Americans are mixed up. You know, the original peoples are gone. The original Arabs were the Ad and the Thamud. Allah destroyed them and wiped them out as a punishment. The original Egyptians was Pharaoh. They were destroyed. His progeny, everything destroyed. That's why any Egyptian that wants to be like Pharaoh is crazy. When Allah wipes you out, you are cursed. That's the curse of Allah. There are no original Egyptians on earth. There are no original Arabs on earth. You know, we're all mixed up people now. You know what I'm saying? The original people, gone. We're all of different races and stuff now. But those were the original Arabs. They're called the perishing. Perish means they don't exist no more.
Right.
Right. Just like the original Egyptians are the perished Egyptians. They don't exist no more. You find them in their tombs, in mummies. Cleopatra was not even an Egyptian. She was a Greek and Roman. She was from Mesopotamia. Okay? Yeah. The original Egyptians were destroyed. And their ruins, those pyramids are the ruins of the original Egyptians. Just like the ruins of Ad and Thamud are the ruins of those people. When Allah destroys an original people, he leaves their ruins. You go to Greek. The original Greeks were destroyed too. Yes. The original Greeks and Romans were destroyed. Look, go to Greece. They got more history there. They were destroyed. Pompeii, destroyed. Pompeii is underneath the earth. Is underneath the ocean. Those were the original Greeks. Allah destroyed them people because they worshipped Zeus in them. Yeah, the originals are gone. We are all just, mixed up. We lived in that. We were the ones that replaced the originals, lived in that part of the world, and are mixed up of other stuff. That's why when you do your DNA, there's nobody whose DNA comes out pure. They say the most purest DNA are the Chinese. Because one thing about them Chinese, they still don't take kindly to intermarrying and none of that. You know what I'm saying? And Allah didn't wipe them out. You know? But, yeah. We're all mixed up. A lot of Hebrew and Arabs. A lot of Arabs got Viking, but the North African Arabs, like myself, we have more Viking in us than anything. I'm 30% Viking. Okay? And that's, and then, also that 30% includes my mother's side of the family, which is her from, was it England? Her English stuff and all that too. Yeah. And then the Bantu. I got all that Bantu in me from both sides. From Africa. Yeah, none of us are pure. And I do have Hebrew in me too. Izdahar has probably more Hebrew because she's from that part of the world. She probably has more Hebrew blood in her than any of us because that's where she's from, that Jerusalem part of the world. Those were mostly the Hebrew people. Yeah. But I got some Hebrew in me too. 2%. I think I'm just 2% Jew. And mine is Russian Jew. They even put mine down to a 2% Russian Jew. Yeah. All right, any other questions? But yeah, these people are destroyed. They are the perishing. They don't exist. Allah destroyed them and left their ruins behind. That's a curse. To be destroyed, just like the people of Sodom. That's why this homosexuality is so great. Allah destroyed the people of Sodom. He wiped them out. And he left their ruins behind. Let me show if I can see. I can get this picture, y'all. I'm a history person. I have a degree in ancient civilizations. one of my pictures, see if I can find it, of the people of Sodom. Okay.
Yeah, I was watching some of their documentation, and they was, picking out the brimstone and lighting it with the lighter, just showing a demonstration of it.
Yes.
How powerful it is. So
yeah, y'all know they say that Allah turned them people, he destroyed them and turned them into salt because they were near the ocean. A lot of people, look at this. This is true stuff. You go to that part of the world where this happened. It looks like statues of people. Look. Look at this. Doesn't it look like a woman turned to salt? Look at this here. The mountain of Sodom. That look like a person standing turned into something? This is all real pictures. Look at that. Look like real people. This one here, look at this. This just stands on that seat. Lot's wife, the pillar of salt. Look at this. These are real pictures over that part of the world. These pillars of salt just standing there. And look at that. People say that's the people that Allah destroyed and left as a sign, a reminder. This one here really looks like it. Doesn't it look like a woman trying to stop herself? And that's a pillar of salt, guys. This is salt. And it's a close-up of it. Look. That looks just like a woman. And this is it. Another one. These are real pictures. That looks like a hand. Yeah, so you will see that stuff. Allah left his signs behind, his reminders behind. But we don't take heed. We don't want to believe in Allah. We don't want to believe. You want to be LGBTQ. Those pillars of salt are still there, and that right there. Allah left it. Look what happened to those who chose to take men and as men and women as men. Look what happened. And even the Christians use that stuff. They say, look, how can y'all say the LGBTQ is okay? Allah destroyed a whole nation, a whole people. He wiped them out for that and left their ruins behind in the form of salt pillars and pillars of rock. Okay. I want everybody to know this is a question from Facebook, or no, this is YouTube. A woman wants to know if her period comes after she breaks her fast. I want y'all to know we ain't fasting yet. I want to just announce that. I know a lot of people have put up stuff about Saudi Arabia. I told y'all we go through this fitna every year. Every year, guys. This is a Tuesday. How the heck don't get me started. I don't want to get started on that again. So I hope ain't nobody fasting. Ramadan ain't began yet. Y'all got that? A lot of people calculate. If you guys that live in America look at a calendar, the North American so-called Council of Muslim Innovators, the North American Council of Innovators, they put it on the calendar last year. They calculate. They've been calculating Ramadan for 3 years. It's on the calendar for the 23rd. It's on America's calendar, the 23rd, when they were sitting in the White House with Obama doing Turkey Day. Yeah, them people y'all listen to. They decided that year that they were going to be calculating. And it's on all America. It's been on the calendar all year. They calculate. The prophet said no calculations. So that's why they telling y'all it's Thursday. Saudi Arabia did not tell y'all about Saudi Arabia yesterday. I was being nice. We went over the dirty hands, didn't we? We don't talk politics here. But the political situation in Saudi Arabia is pretty bad. The real scholars, either dead or in jail. We don't know if they living or dead. We don't follow nothing but the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I will let you guys know after we start looking tomorrow for the moon when Ramadan will begin. I'm not going by the North American Muslim Council of Innovators and their calculations. I'm not going by the corrupt, dirty hands of these political countries either. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. I'll put it out tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow, sometime. But anyway, just to answer this question, I hope everybody know ain't no fasting yet. You know, wrong camera. Hold on. Go back to the other camera. If a woman knows her period comes, if her period comes after she breaks her fast. If it comes after you break your fast, then your fast is good. It's if it comes during your fast that your fast is bad. Does everybody understand that? If you start fasting, Fajr, and your period comes during the night, you're good. You're good if it comes during the night. If it comes while you're fasting, then that day didn't count. Everybody understand that? So if your period comes during the fasting hours, you have to make that day up. If it comes after the fasting hours, you're good to go. Everybody understand? Yeah, I tried to be nice yesterday. I told y'all, I don't care about what no Saudi Arabia is doing. We're waiting to see if the moon has been seen, and we ain't even, what you looking, this is Tuesday. Are you crazy? We'll let you know when Australia, the way Allah made the earth, Australia will let us know. Okay? Yeah, but far as your fast, as long as your fast isn't broken yet, then if it didn't come while you were fasting, you're good to go. Okay. Any other questions?
No question, but I was just thinking about those ruins. The fact that Allah destroyed them so tough that nothing is still to this day doesn't grow there.
Yeah, and that's the thing about that. You see, I was showing y'all the pictures. And by the way, when you look at these pictures, if you go to, nothing grows there. Allah destroyed the people of Sodom. And that's all salt. The soil is so bad that nothing grows. Allah really is Akbar, and when his anger comes. That's why I say, when Allah destroyed, he destroyed the original Arabs. That's the Ad and the Thamud. Look at that part of the world. It's messed up. He destroyed the original Egyptians. Look at Pharaoh and all of them. Okay, their tombs. Look at that part. Then you look at the people of Sodom. You know, that part of the earth, and they look the way Allah destroyed it, making it look like people, and then nothing grows there. That's salt. The earth is so bad there, nothing grows. Near that part of the Dead Sea. Yeah, let me show y'all some more pictures of it. This is all part of around that Dead Sea area where that happened. Those are archaeologists. They find out more stuff all the time about that area. Look, don't that look like people? That's somebody being stupid, though. But these are real. These are the real ones. Look, Dead Sea pillars. Look like the remains of their homes and stuff. Those are the real ones. Okay, pillars. It amazes geographists to this day. Look, something. When I took history, I wrote a paper on this when I took history. And I said I would love to go over there just to look at those ruins. But nothing grows there. The earth, Allah made the earth where it will hold nothing there. He destroyed them people and showed his anger so bad that you can't even grow a piece of nothing there. And now look at the world today. LGBTQ. How do you think Allah feels about all this LGBTQ today? Making it lawful to marry men, women to marry women. And we wonder why there's so many earthquakes in the world, why there's so many tornadoes in the world, why Allah sends so much calamity to this earth. Look how we've transgressed the limits. And even though he's left reminders behind of what happened to those who transgressed before us. It's sad. How can you not believe in Allah? How can you not fear his punishment?
What was the name of those other people that is talks about too in our books? About they were like that, similar to those people, and they turned against Allah, and Allah punished. He destroyed the whole nation. The next morning when they woke up, I mean, they didn't wake up. The next morning, it was just like stone.
It was so many of them. Allah's story, I don't know, it's so many. And we just don't learn.
They were in their home, but it was like this. Gone.
That's Pompeii. Those were the Greeks. That's Pompeii, guys, y'all. That Pompeii is still a mystery to them today. They digging up stuff from the ocean, from the people of Pompeii. And those bodies are amazing. They're in ash. Y'all seen how those bodies look? The people of Pompeii in ash. How can people deny Allah? Let me see if I can Google some stuff. I did a paper on them when I was in college too.
And you know another thing, Layla, they're talking about here lately, they've been talking about how close meteorites are coming to the earth. I don't know the significance of that or how true it is.
Look at
I
this.
did see it on the science page.
Yeah, these are the bodies of the people of Pompeii. They were in ash. This is them. Look. Look at this dog. The dog as he was. Yeah, these are the people of Pompeii. Look at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how Allah left them. And people still don't believe in Allah. Yeah, I did a paper on them in school. What happened was, how did they get this? When the archaeologists uncovered these people, they used, they masked them so that they could preserve how it looked. And this is it. Ain't this amazing? Look at this man. You can see him. Look. This is a 2,000-year-old human from Pompeii. They DNA'd him. Look at that. You'd be surprised how many of them were black. When they do the DNA of these men, you would find a lot of these Pompeii men were black, guys. These were black people too. A lot of them were of African descent. You know? Yeah, I did a paper on this in college. I love ancient history. They were in their bed, sleep. Look at this woman with her child.
That's true. I remember.
Look, the woman, this lady was praying. When a volcano got her, she was praying. Look at that little child in the ruins. Yeah, the ruins of Pompeii. That's amazing. That stuff these are all the signs of Allah. And people still don't want to listen. He wiped out nations, destroyed them, took them away completely. And we still don't want to believe in him and obey him. It's really sad. Yeah, it's really sad. Yeah, okay, guys, I'm going to stop right here. We have another class at 11, the Hadith class. I'll inshallah log in for that. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.